Hi teachers, my name is Jennifer Campbell and today we will be discussing legal and ethical responsibilities that affect the teaching profession. The first set of law cases that we will discuss are the law cases affecting your responsibilities legally. Pickering versus Board of Township High School was the case that resulted in the Supreme Court making the decision that freedom of speech is a protected constitutional right in the teachers in a teaching profession. Basically what it said is that teachers can speak on matters that affect the public and affect public concern. Of course, Mr. Pickering had a good reputation at his school, however disagreed with the proposal to spend more on athletics than academics. That was his personal opinion. He wrote into a letter to the editor to the newspaper. Even though the letter had many mistakes, the Supreme Court upheld that it was his right to submit the letter to the editor because it did not affect the efficiency of operations in the school. So teachers, you do have constitutional rights that are protected, of course, as long as it does not affect the efficiency of operations in the school. So the first court case held discussing the responsibilities of teachers upheld that right. However, Mount Healthy City School District versus Doyle refined that law, put a little bit more teeth into the Pickering case. In this case, a teacher at Mount Healthy City School had been berating other workers. A lunchroom worker didn't give him enough spaghetti on his plate. He also had another altercation with another teacher and had even given an obscene gesture to another female student in the school. Well, when he decided that he disagreed with a dress code that the school had put forth, he decided that he would go live on local air stations and discuss his disagreement with the dress code policy. His case was reviewed and the school board called for his dismissal. Of course, he sued on that his constitutional rights of freedom of speech had been violated. Well, the outcome of that case was that the school board upheld that they did not dismiss him because of the radio station calls, but for his conduct. So the school district upheld that they had not violated his constitutional rights, rather that the terms of his contract were null and void because of conduct. So what we learned from this, teachers, is that also when a teacher files suit for that they've been disciplined or that their contract has not been renewed because of constitutional rights, now the burden of proof is on the teacher. The burden of proof is not on the school district to show that constitutional rights were not given. So that was a major outcome of that case, that the burden of proof is on you as the teacher if you've been dismissed to show that your constitutional rights were not given. A third law case discussing teacher responsibilities as far as freedom of speech was Connick versus Myers. In this case, although not in the teaching profession, a DA office employee circulated a memo around the office asking for what employees thought was the morale of the office. Well, the DA's office fired this person, and he sued for that his freedom of speech rights had been violated. The court upheld the law firm's decision to fire this individual because the nuance here was that it was not public. It did not affect public concern. This was an inter-office memo. His freedom of speech rights therefore had not been violated, and so the terms of his contract were null and void. But what they based it on was employee performance. But the outcome of that is that his First Amendment rights were not violated because it was an inter-office memo, therefore not of public concern. Also, it disrupted the efficiency of business operations, and so if your quote-unquote freedom of speech disrupts the efficiency of operations, then that discontinues the freedom at that point as well.